What is up, everybody? This is your boy, Mr. T-Man in 1993, aka Straight Fast, because that's all I fucking spit on this YouTube thing, man. RTP, I just watched your video. Again, before I even get into it, appreciate the football talk. Love the football talk, man. But let's talk about some stuff that I seen you talk about. You talked about how, based off last year, Winston wasn't the worst quarterback in the NFC South. When you're looking at that hierarchy, you can't put, I don't care if Cam threw 5 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. You can't put somebody. We have three MVP winners. No, 2 MVP winners and a Super Bowl MVP winner in our division. None of those names is Jameis Winston. Matt Ryan, you talk about bouncing back and having the years. You remember how it was before last year? A lot of people's opinion was, oh, maybe Matt Ryan's not going to be the quarterback in Atlanta. Maybe he's not the franchise quarterback we've been thinking of. He struggled in Kyle Shanahan's offense the first year. You remember that? And bounced back and had an MVP type year. So I can't put a quarterback, the only quarterback who doesn't have an MVP on his resume, above anybody. I can't put a quarterback who, even on Hard Knocks, you've been denying it for years, on Hard Knocks, told us that he looks up to my quarterback. This is no Last Dragon. This is no, the student is not better than the master. The leader is still above, that he's still looking up to Cam, even now. So running back, you talked about, Doug Martin, who's a bi-yearly runner. He runs well for a year, takes a year off. Runs well for a year, takes a year off. When he's healthy and not on drugs and not in rehab, he's the best running back in the league besides Adrian Peterson. But he's not going to be there all year. He's not going to be there all year, is he? Last time I checked, he had a 4-game suspension. So how can you say he's the best? And this is why you wanted to know why I talked to core when it came to running backs, but with tight end, I did the starters. This is why. Running back wise, in the NFC South, running back wise, you are the only team that has one running back. So I went off of, majority rules. So in Carolina, we're going to have Christian McCaffrey. We're going to have Jonathan Stewart. In Atlanta, you have Freeman, who is better than Doug Martin right now, and Tevin Coleman. And in the Saints, you have 3 running backs. And Adrian Peterson, who I would take over Doug Martin, Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. But yeah, what was I saying? Alvin Kamara, Adrian Peterson, Mark Ingram. So that's why I talked core as opposed to just one back in the NFC South. And even if you look at the starters as far as this year, the Saints, you don't really know who's going to start. But Jonathan Stewart, I would take over Doug Martin, who you're going to be missing for 4 games. And they haven't totally even committed to keeping him. Devontae Freeman, right now I would take over Doug Martin. And I think a lot of people in this league would. So even that, but that's why. Now tight ends, I talked about one guy for the tight ends because besides you guys are the only ones that I can think of off the top of my head that are going to have dual threat pass catchers. Pretty much starting 2 tight ends, switching them in and out, like that. Greg Olson plays practically every play. Austin Hooper, same thing. Kobe Fleener, all that money New Orleans gave him. I don't think they have another, guy who's going to be out there pass catching stuff. So again, in that sense, I went with one guy for the tight end. So that's why. Wide receiving core. Hey, proven guys. Yeah, you got me in proven guys. I think you talked about Goodwin being a number 4 receiver who's really a number 1 receiver. And look at how he played against the Cleveland Browns. We're talking about that game. Didn't you allow Kaiser to win a starting role in that game? But we're not that far yet. So wide receiving core, I mean, you're not the best in the South, but hey, my team versus your team, you have more proven guys. You know what I'm saying? We know what Mike Evans is. Kelvin, he's looked slimmed down. He's looked like a beast all this preseason. But hey, I'm not going to put him above Mike Evans right now. Deshaun, you talked about how Deshaun is this and Deshaun is that. Cool. Deshaun over Devin Funchess. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. Curtis Samuel versus Adam Humphries. I'm taking Curtis Samuel. That's just me. Adam Humphries is not a, dynamic player. That's why I said he's the worst slot. Look at the slot receivers in the South. He's the only one that can't. All the other guys can take a short pass a distance. They can run, all the routes, but they're supremely more athletic than Adam Humphries. Whether you're talking about Ted Ginn, whether you're talking about Curtis Samuel, whether you're talking about Taylor Gabriel, and you kind of, hold Taylor Gabriel a little bit, in my opinion. Taylor Gabriel had game winners and stuff going on last year. Was one of the biggest surprises of the NFL season last year. Offensive line, you want to talk about your offensive line is better than mine. But that's, again, because a lot of y'all don't really pay attention to my team unless it's the big names. But I have Ryan Khalil, who's an all-pro, Pro Bowl center. I have, who missed all of last year, mind you, for the most part. I have Trey Turner, who's an all-pro guard, a Pro Bowl guard, one of the best young guards in the league. He's been he's been at the pinnacle of his position. He's been, on the cover of Sports Illustrated as a guard. You know what I'm saying? I have Andrew Norwell, who's every year has balled out. His rookie year as a guard in their rookie class, he had better grades than Zach Martin and what's the other guy for Cleveland? Joe Bettino. So, and then, my right tackle is really if they're going to start Darrell Williams, my weakest spot. Matt Khalil. You can say what you want. None of my quarterbacks, have gotten sacked in the preseason. None of my quarterbacks, as far as with the starting offensive line, none of my quarterbacks got, even knocked down. I remember Derek Anderson mentioned that, how he felt, not getting knocked down in no game. So, what are we really talking about? You have an offensive line that, okay, your best lineman is switching positions this year. If I'm not mistaken, is Ali Marpet not playing center this year? That's your best lineman. J.R. Sweezy, okay, Donovan Smith. I get, is he even a franchise left tackle at this point? Kevin Pantfield, DeMar Dotson. What are we talking about? How is your offensive line going to be better than mine that have guys who more recently and on the regular go to the Pro Bowl, win all pros? So what are we even discussing when it comes to offensive line? When you talked about defensive line, first of all, you talked about Atlanta. They had nobody who had 3 sacks. I guess if you're being technical, Grady Jerry had 3 sacks in the regular season and didn't he have 4 sacks in the Super Bowl? So that's more than your 3 sacks for the year. But if you want to be technical, because it seemed like you was doing a lot of that in this video. When y'all normally try to say I'm the stat guy, but it's not just about the stats. It's about knowing what the stats is telling you, knowing why the stats are the way they are. My defensive line was second in the league in sacks. I know you didn't have more than that. And I said every team in the NFC South has a guy who has the potential to get 10 sacks. Because if you look at most playoff teams, most Super Bowl teams, they have a guy who, year in and year out can go after and get you 10 sacks. Cameron Jordan is that guy for New Orleans. Vic Beasley is that guy for Atlanta who made it to the Super Bowl. Mario Addison is that guy for my team. And we rewarded him with a contract extension. Kawan Short can potentially get us 10 sacks. I mean, you can mention Gerald McCoy. Gerald McCoy's never done it. Never. Kawan Short has. And I talked about my tandem. Yeah. My tandem can stop the run and they can get after the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So, but, hey, your defensive line is not better than mine at stopping the run. They're not better than mine at getting after the quarterback. Again, and what I really felt like most of the year was a down year as far as getting to the quarterback. We were second in the league. Linebackers, you talked about, who got better stats than Kawan and Levante. That's cute. I mean, we all know Luke missed a lot of games last year. But nobody's in their right mind is taking Beckworth, Kawan, and Levante over Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly, and Shaq Thompson. Nobody. Secondary, you talked about, my safeties had more interceptions than anybody in the South. Again, that's cool. Until you look at why the stats are the way they are. Why did Kurt Coleman go from 7 interceptions leading the NFC to 2 interceptions last year? Because he was playing strong safety. He had to play strong safety as opposed to going back to free safety like he is right now, where he led the NFC in interception. He played strong safety last year. That's why his tackles went up, his interceptions dropped. You know what I'm saying? So that's why. Going back to his natural position, I think he's top 5 since he came with us in the NFC in interceptions. Mike Adams, again, is a guy who's made it to the Pro Bowl. I don't think he's ever been an All-Pro, but he's a Pro Bowl guy. Kurt Coleman is a Pro Bowl guy. You know what I'm saying? So what are we talking about? Corners? Okay, your slot corner is what? Javian Elliott? I mean, what are we talking about? He's not better than Captain Mutterland. You talk about Hargraves going to be better. Last time I checked, Hargraves didn't take no miracle growth pills. You know what I'm saying? He's still going to get bullied. And you talked about, he's looked good in the preseason. What quarterbacks have you played? DeAndre Kaiser and Brock Osweiler, Chad Henne and Blake Bortles, and who did you play in the second game? Well, I can't think of who you played in the second game. But it's not like you out there playing, top level guys. So yeah, your secondary is going to look a little different. 2 out of the 3 teams I know you played, they're in quarterback controversy right now. So yeah, so secondary, Grimes is a beat. I'm not knocking Grimes. Grimes is a dog. But again, I got Bradbury, who's a nice corner in his own. Worley, I mean, y'all gonna have to, same way you want us to wait and see what Hargraves, you gotta wait and see what Daryl Worley. Difference is Hargraves is 5'8". Daryl Worley is, a 6-foot corner. You can't teach size at the end of the day. But again, we'll wait on Harley. We'll wait on Hargraves. Captain Mutterland is way better than any other corner you got. You know what I'm saying? We doing that head to Grimes, Bradbury. Okay, Grimes wins. Second corner, we'll say it as a wash. But after that, Captain Mutterland. And then secondary, like I said, Kurt Coleman and Mike Adams are better than Keith Tandy and Chris Constant. Sorry, but not sorry. So what are we really talking about? You want to say stats this, stats that. And it's cool. It's cool. I understand why you did it. You know what I'm saying? I am that guy that will hit you with some stats. But you got to know what you're talking about. You got to know why the stats. You have to look deeper. You know what I'm saying? Look deeper. So, I mean, it was nice you went that way. I mean, who who's had more, tackles and stuff in the body. Okay. How many games did Luke Kuechly miss? But hey, like I said, I appreciate the football talk. Talking about your king analogy, all that. This is why this video is called No Easter Sundays. If you were a king, you were dead. You've been dead and buried for a long time. There's no resurrections. Y'all not Jesus. Y'all not Jesus. No nothing. There's no Easter Sundays. You know what I'm saying? You're not. There's no resurrection of the Bucks at all. You talk about that Super Bowl team, and it's nice. But who do you have from that team? Is Warren Sapp walking through the door? I mean, let me know. The only one that walked through the door I seen was Gruden. And even that, look at how, to me, Cutter low-key disrespected him when I watched it. Talking about, you can see how much he missed being in that coaching role, and they all laugh. Like, that's how y'all treat a legend. A legend for y'all. I mean, yeah, I would say he's a legend in general. But definitely a legend in y'all franchise history. Y'all decide to make a joke and laugh about it. But hey, it's not my team. Putting game, there's nobody. I don't even know who your putter is. Ain't no putter better than Andy Lee. There's not. He's been a Pro Bowl putter his whole career. There's not. He was hurt last year, but even, you know what I'm saying? There's nobody better at pinning people back. You know what I'm saying? And I see you didn't talk about the coaching, which is cool. I'll let you live. Again, I can't put Dirk Cutter above anybody when he's the only one not to get his team to a Super Bowl. Him and Dan Quinn are the only one. Well, I don't care. I'm going to have to look that up because it's the second time I'm saying that. But Sean Payton, Ron Rivera got Coach of the Year awards. Dan Quinn's got his team to Super Bowl. Dirk Cutter hasn't as a head coach. But that's it. Again, I greatly appreciate the football talk. And RTP, out of a lot of people, I think some of what you say does come from you loving your team. I also think some of what you say is from knowing a little bit more football and watching your team over and over and over again. So anything I do that you feel like you want to be a part of, you're welcome to it. We get into our little stuff, but at the end of the day, it's never been a point where I've been like, oh, fuck RTP. You know what I'm saying? None of that. So you cool with me. Again, if you ever want to be part of my stuff, hit me up. Any ideas you have creatively, hit me up. But other than that, man, this is what we just talking about, the NFC South. And so that's why I said, man, if you're a king, you've been dead and buried and got murdered a long time ago. I'm not really into Game of Thrones, so I don't have no analogy from that show. No, I ain't going into that. But like I said, if you're a king, you've been dead and you got stabbed a long time ago and left to die and buried a long time ago. There's no Jesus, there's no Jesus, there's no Easter, no resurrection, none of that. This is your boy, Mr. Timo 1993, a.k.a. Straight Facts, because that's all I spell on this YouTube thing. And I'm out.